Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. Just reading the current post from Mk3. I hope that's pronouncing that right, but Mingthein.com. Really good photographer. He's got some very interesting posts. I believe he's out of Malaysia, and he shoots a lot of different stuff, a lot of commercial. Shoots with everything from a Pentax 645Z down to Micro Four Thirds. And his current post today, where he's talking about cars and cameras, he's kind of talking about horses for courses, and do people overbuy cameras just because of the level of camera and don't specifically buy what would suit their needs more, because they think they need something better, when in reality, you know, a smaller, lighter Micro Four Thirds might be better for them than hauling around, you know, a full Canon 1DX setup or something like that. And this reminded me of a viewer email had a couple days back asking if they should upgrade from their 70D to the 5D Mark III. And this is always kind of a subjective thing, because, you know, what are your needs? There's a lot of situations. I mean, myself and a lot of people would be better served with some of the Micro Four Thirds cameras for a lot of the work they're looking at doing. Small, light, excellent image quality, portable. I mean, there's situations where you need something more advanced, more megapixels, better high ISOs. Like certain things call for the best of the best. But in most situations, this would not be the case with most people. Sure, working professionals, you know, and even then it can be debatable. I mean, I think Nikon D810 with its 36 megapixels, it's a good fight against medium format cameras. You could argue that the medium format's not necessary. Ming himself tends to like, I think, the 645Z. He's into these ultra prints with ultra high resolution, and he feels that he needs the medium format for that. But comes back to my viewer's email. You know, do I upgrade to a not a micro? Do I upgrade to a 5D Mark III from a 70D? And you know, you have to factor in all these things. I mean, if money's no concern, you don't mind the size of the system, and also some of the other things you're gonna find, like you're gonna show flaws in lenses a lot more easily on a 5D Mark III than you would on a 70D. You know, then by all means, if you think that's what you want, go for it. Do you need it? Likely not. Most people probably don't. In fact, like I just said, most people would probably be better served with a small Micro Four Thirds system. But this is something you got to look at. I mean, unless you're shooting professionally, Micro Four Thirds would be fine, or your 70D, stay with it. If there's some specific reason you think you need full frame, certainly. I mean, if you're professional and you're finding, you know, wedding photography or sports, and you really need the best of the best you can get for high ISO, then yeah, step up to 5D Mark III, step up to the Canon 1DX. But if you know, if that's not your case, and you're just got some gear lust and think you, I mean, if you want it, that's valid too. Go ahead and buy it. But do you need it? Probably not, unless there's a specific requirement why you would need that camera, because the 70D is capable of excellent image quality. Likewise, the Micro Four Thirds system. I mean, I know people now shooting weddings with them. With the fast primes, stellar optics on the Micro Four Thirds, they've got some advantages that you don't even have on DSLRs. I mean, so it's one of those things, folks, where you really need to think about it, because if you just want it, that's an entirely different thing. And if you're trying to justify it to yourself, well, we usually do as people. We usually justify what we want to purchase. But to the viewer question of should I upgrade to this from the 70D to a 5D Mark III, what are you going to use it for? Do you have a need? Like, if you're asking me, you know, do I need to do that? You probably don't, unless there's these specific things. I mean, the 5D Mark III has a little bit better high ISO than the 70D, actually a fair bit better. It's arguably better for movies, video. Although the 70D has the advantage of the follow focus there. It'll follow your focus smoothly like a camcorder would. Price is certainly not insignificant between these two cameras. So would you be better served by better lenses, putting the money into some better lenses? You know, for the most part, you can get a lot of great image quality out of a 70D. Unless you have these specific requirements that the 5D Mark III can fulfill that the 70D can't, it's probably not a great value for you to do that. I get the same thing when people writing in ask me, should I get the 610 over the Nikon D7100 or a 5300? And it's the same thing there, unless the specific requirements like the high ISO, or if you're an older photographer, if you're more old school, you come from 35mm and you really just didn't like APS-C DX sensors or crop sensors at all, and you just wanted that 35mm, the full frame, the lens to be what it was actually designed for, and the old 35mm field of view on full frame film, then yeah, that's valid too. But you know what I'm coming down to here is you can justify anything. We all can if you want to purchase something. But if you're talking about do you need it, odds are most people are not using the full abilities of the camera they have, let alone needing to go up to something like a 5D Mark III from a 70D or a Nikon D610 or D810 from a D7100. So just something to think about. What do you guys think? You know, have some of you upgraded and found that, hey, I was a little disappointed maybe. I didn't see the huge gain I thought I would, and realized that, you know, it's more about the glass or it's more about me improving my photography. Or do you think it's absolutely necessary? You know, I know some people that say, oh, pros need to shoot the best camera out there because they need to do that for their clients. I don't really agree with that, but what do you guys think? Let me know. Let's have a discussion on the validity of needing to upgrade into a higher end camera, or do we need to develop ourselves more and realize that we already have good tools? You know, even in a 70D or a Nikon D7100. Let's have a discussion on upgrading cameras and then where the need is and whether you should do it or not. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon with some new articles, some new videos. Keep you up to date with what's going on in the world of photography, videography, technology, right here at artoftheimage.com. Thanks a lot, folks.